Hey y'all, I'm here to sit with you and talk to you about how you can revise for repetition within your poems. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So, when I think about repetition, I actually think about my mom because my mom is someone who's really important to me. But my mom does this thing that maybe some of your caring adults do, where my mom feels like she has to remind me of everything. When I say she reminds me of everything, one thing that really stands to mind that I still think about is how she'd always be like, "Kamaria, did you pack enough socks?" No matter where I went or what I did, she'd always be like, "Well, did you pack an extra pair of socks?" So much that that reminder continues to stay in my head. She kept repeating that, and it continues sticking with me today. And so today we're going to talk about how strategic writers tell their readers important themes by repeating important words, phrases, or stanzas. Because my mom kept repeating that socks were so important, it actually became something that was important to me because she kept repeating those things. So we're going to go ahead and dive right into it. So there are two different questions that a writer can ask themselves. The first question they might ask themselves is, what is my theme? What lesson do I want my readers to learn? You guys all spend a lot of time thinking about both your theme and your purpose, and so you're thinking about how you can bring this to life. The second question you might ask yourself are, what words, phrases, or stanzas in my poem do I need to repeat to bring my theme or my purpose alive? So I want you to watch me as I actually go through my poem, one of my flash drafts, and thinking about how I can add repetition to bring home my theme and my purpose. Go ahead and switch here. Great. All right, so I have a poem that I wrote here, and I'm just going to actually start by reading it, and then we're going to go from there. So, tips on how to avoid the dangerous hands of men who felt entitled to my mind and body. How to avoid being killed. Make sure you're not walking with your hood on. Keep your hands visible. Do as people say. Be careful so you seem threatening. Make sure you don't get in trouble. It's not okay to be a child. Don't be black. Okay, so this is my flash draft, so you'll notice I did have a few errors here, but we're working on revising and making it better. So immediately, I'm thinking about this poem, and when I think about this poem, the inspiration or purpose behind why I was writing it is because I wanted to share the experience that a lot of Black people share. A lot of Black people, whether or not you come from the same neighborhood, come from the same class, um, a lot of people hear these messages from their parents. And when I actually think about what's important here and what I want to bring out is I'm going to repeat this that my parents told me these things because I want to draw the line that this is something that's universal. So I'm going to think where I can add this. Immediately, I'm going to add a line here that says, my parents are professional speakers, because when I think about speakers, I think about how speakers are almost paid um, to speak on important topics. But my parents are almost professional because they tell me all of these really important things because it's based on my survival. So I have this line here, and I actually think I might want to repeat the idea of speaking or bringing up my parents. So I'm going to add this line. I'm going to add, my parents speak on tips tips on how to avoid the dangerous hands of men who feel entitled to my mind and body. Okay, I'm also thinking I'm going to add it to this stanza as well. My parents speak on how to avoid being killed. Make sure you're not walking with your hood on. Keep your hands visible. Do as people say. Be careful so you don't seem threatening. Make sure you don't get in trouble. It's not okay to be a child. Don't be black. Another part that's actually standing out as an opportunity for me to add repetition is this actually do and don't part. I think about things when I think about our base expectation, there are certain do's and there are certain things that you don't do. And if I want to actually drive home that this is important, I might want to add some repetition here. So I'm going to actually make these other lines look like do's and don'ts. So do as people say. Be careful so you don't seem threatening. I'm thinking I'm going to change this to don't. Don't seem threatening don't get in trouble. Don't be a child. Don't be black. I really like how this is one do and many don'ts. I think it really drives home the purpose behind my poem and even just like my theme around this is a common experience that a lot of black kids like face, and one that I felt a lot. So you're gonna go back through your work and you're actually going to choose, whoops, sorry. You're going to actually choose at least two poems that you want to try adding repetition to. So when you think about things that you might want to repeat, you might choose words, you might choose phrases that you want to repeat. You might want to repeat stanzas. So kind of like how a song has like a hook, maybe you repeat stanzas or different parts over and over again, or maybe even thinking about how you can choose to repeat symbols. Go ahead and give that a shot. If you decide to do more than two poems, that's great. Like do as many as you think. You can always use sticky notes to add in your revisions. Good luck.